Hi everyone, it's Annalie from seventhsensehealing.com. So I'm going to do a new moon and guidance reading in one for you this week because tomorrow on Monday it's the new moon. Now we're in January, and at the start of the year and the start of this month we were in eclipse season, and we had a full moon which was a real moon to release and let go of the past decade and the last year. So this makes it a really good time to set intentions because we released so much stuff at the start of the year. So it's almost like it's, the start of the new year again now. We've let go of all that stuff and we can really focus on setting intentions. I was reading this morning that it's going to be a year of planets in retrograde, but don't be nervous about that. It's not Mercury retrograde all year, but all planets are going into retrograde this year, which is unusual. And that means there'll be quite a lot of times when we'll be reflecting or going to our unconscious and maybe really reevaluating what we're doing. So just be mindful when you're setting your intentions this year. You might want to change them later on, or they might develop and grow into something else. So set out what you might want to do and what you want to achieve, but just be prepared for things to take a different course, other opportunities to come up. Maybe you reevaluate and decide, actually, I thought I wanted to do that at the start of the year, now I want to do something different. So always keep an open mind, and the universe, maybe has a bigger plan than we can even imagine for ourselves. So when we're manifesting, it's good to say, write down this or something better, because what we can sometimes envision for ourselves is quite different to what we can actually achieve in life, and we can achieve often greater things than we can imagine. So that's really my tips on the new moon. So get yourself a pad and pen, write down all the things you'd like to do if you haven't done it yet already, or if you did do it over Christmas period, have another go now, because we've had such a shift in our energy and an upgrade really, that what we write down now could be different and could have developed quite a bit. So keep setting those intentions this year and keep growing and changing as you need to. So I was working with the cards last night actually, and going through the Divine Feminine deck and also the Goddess Power deck. And I was sort of thinking, what is this new moon about? What's the energy about this week? And as I was sort of going through the cards that were first coming out for me were all about power and reclaiming our power and reclaiming our soul fragments, energy and bits of us we've left around. So I sort of got quite into it. So I've already gone through the cards and working with 2 decks this week, and they're all feminine energy cards. And the first card is from the Divine Feminine pack, and it's a sort of a goddess called Thecla, and as you can see there, she's got a lion with her, and it says she's the prophetess of true power. I call back my power from all times and all places. I am my own. So it's really interesting to read about her, because she's from the sort of early biblical times, around the time when St. Paul was around, if you know much about sort of Christianity and things. And it said that she was sitting in her house and Paul was outside talking or giving sermons or, explaining the word of God, and she listened intently for 3 days, and afterwards she decided that that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to spread the word of God too. So she was also betrothed to marry somebody. She's only young, and arranged marriage, and she decided she didn't want to do that. She wanted to instead be a missionary. But obviously back in those times, she was told that she couldn't do that. She couldn't choose not to have a husband and be a missionary, so she was sentenced to death. So they sentenced her to death and sent her into one of these big amphitheatres and sent her in with lions. And the lion came in and didn't kill her. And then they sent her to the next area, which was wild sea lions, and put her in the water. And what was happening as all this was going on, the women in the crowd were cheering her on, but they got worried when she got sent into the lions, sort of into the sea lions pit of water. So as she went in to the water, she called out to God and said, "Baptize me in the name of God." And as she did that, she was saved and was covered in a white cloak. And then she was allowed to be a missionary and work with Paul, and he allowed her to do that. So what her message was from that story was that whatever she wanted to do and wanted to be, which was a missionary to spread the word of God. And it's quite interesting because that story shows us that actually back then, even though the Bible is all male stories and male saints, there were women back then who were missionaries spreading the word of God and had, miraculous things happen to them that were saved by God in this case. And those stories we just haven't been told. But she was showing that with her own power and her own mind and her own thoughts that she was going to do the missionary work. She wasn't going to be forced to marry a man. Actually, it was 2 men that she was being forced to marry over time. And so she stood for herself, used her own power, and was able to move forward. So she's telling you to call back your power, to work with your power, to not do what other people tell you to do, to be strong and do what you believe is right. And her message at the end is, we have all the power right now within us to take our life into our hands. That we're not bound by other people's thoughts or dictations. That we can take all our power back and we don't need to be controlled by other people. And other people, partners, family members, our culture, even our ego, doesn't define who we are. We define who we are. So this card's telling you to take back your power, define yourself, and not be told or dictated or controlled by other people. So it's a really strong message there. And then the next card which came out was Lilith, which is a Jewish goddess. And her message is about independence. So it's a similar message really coming through. Now, she's saying that again, she was again betrothed to a man and refused to marry him. And so what they did was wrote demonic stories about her because she refused to follow suit and have to marry a man that she didn't want to. They made up false stories about her, made her out to be a demon. We know those stories women made out to be witches in the past too. So they were very damaging stories about her. But whatever happened, she offered you this lesson. No one can prevent you from fully blooming or learning all you can from evolving into who you want to be and choosing freedom and choosing independence. And she says only your own thinking can limit you. So if you think you can't do something, or you think you have to be somebody, if you think you have to do these things, that's your limited thinking, and you can choose independence and freedom. And it says it's an excellent time to make new relationships, to be healthy, to be in healthy relationships, to have relationships of giving and receiving rather than one person giving and the other taking. So you can have more self-worth and self-respect, and that independence will come to you through making those decisions. So really strong messages coming through. And then the next card that came out was Isis, the goddess, the Greek god, the Egyptian goddess this time. And her message is rebirth, which is transformation, being reborn. And again, her message was also about claiming back your power, but also your soul fragments. So every time you go through life and have an experience or a relationship in this life and in previous lives, you leave parts of you out. You lose part of your energy and your power, and it's left. And it's sort of sprinkled around in places. So you've got to imagine these little gold bits of energy, sort of fragments of you just being spread out. And if they're all spread out and they're left with other people or in places, you're not fully in yourself. You haven't got all your energy in yourself, and you're not able to fully move forward. So the Isis card is telling us it's time to move forward, rebirth, transformation. I'm just going to see what her message was at the end for you. These cards are really new to me still, so I'm still learning them. It says, have courage, let go of blame, claim your accountability, and make something better with your life. So we don't have to live by our old stories of, oh, I can't do this because of this. Oh, I was born into this type of family, therefore this is my destiny. Or I didn't go to university, therefore I can't earn a certain amount of money. Think of all these little stories you say in your head. Well, you know, I've got my children, so I'm stuck here doing this or whatever. There's millions of stories we say to ourselves. where we can become a bit of a victim and sort of be a victim of our circumstances, but actually that's not true. We all have the power to change our lives and to achieve what we want in this life. So stop the limited thinking or the old stories or the victim, oh, my life's like this because of this, therefore I'm like this because of this. You know, just got to get rid of that thinking and move forward and be strong. So it says you have the capacity for even more in your life now. There's a better way forward for you. And then face those kind of parts of you, those shadow stories of you, those victim stories, and, you know, regenerate and rebirth from it. Let go of the old stuff, and reclaim all the parts of you that are lost. So your wounds, your old stories, you know, your energy that's scattered. It kind of links into the first card, the Thekla one. I claim my power back. I call my power back from all times, all places. I am my own. You know, she's asking you to do soul retrieval. Bring that stuff back in and stop those old stories. So I think it'd be a good time just to have a minute to close our eyes and just take some deep breaths in and out. So as you do that, I want you to imagine sort of around you are all these sort of specks of energy that's you, like gold dust or stardust. And just visualize all these gold bits of energy, stardust of you. And as you're breathing deeply and slowly, just visualize all this energy coming back into your body that's your own. So you're reclaiming all these parts of you, energy you've left in relationships, in places, in situations, things you've said or done, just given a part of yourself away. Just draw your energy back, nice and purified, coming back to you. And this is something you could do like for 5 or 10 minutes at the end of the day each day. Draw your energy back in from the day and from time. It's a lovely exercise. So we're getting messages of calling our power back, drawing our energy back in and being independent and choosing our life. We've got our own free will to move forward. So really strong empowerment cards came through. And then 2 more. So those ones came through last night. So it's interesting reading about them all in the books. And then 2 more just came through as I was setting up for the reading. So we have Gaia, Goddess of Earth card, so Mother Earth card. And obviously there's so much going on at the moment with the Earth and the planet and climate change and pollution and, you know, all of that and the fires and just all the tragedies that's happening with Mother Earth. So obviously we need to look after the planet. But this card was actually saying not just that, but we need to really look after ourselves. So when we're being earthy, we're being grounded, we're being stable, we're being secure. So actually this card is saying it's a bit like the root chakra kind of work, to really connect to yourself, to build a stable home environment, to build that home. So this card's saying to really connect to yourself, to build a stable home environment, to build a nice, secure, calm, steady home environment where you feel grounded and safe and secure. So it's really a message to look after yourself, take some time out, you know, sort of go inwards and also connect to nature. So go for nice walks in nature, you know, connect to the earth, but be really grounded, steady, stable. Not a time to be rushing around and not taking care of ourselves, you know, eating well. I keep saying these messages, but we should be eating well, we should be resting, looking after ourselves. And actually that's what the main message from this Gaia card was. I'm just going to see what she says at the end again in the book. Let me just get it out. Yes, it's a perfect time to look at your life to make sure you're happy with it. Kind of links in again to the calling in your power and being independent and being what you want to be. You're being asked to examine the foundation of what you're building now. Does it feel stable and solid? Focus on stability and security and move forward in a grounded way. Yeah, make sure you rest, get enough sleep and connect to nature. So a real earth grounding card, and that does fit in with the readings we've been getting about looking after ourselves. And then this really nice card came out, which I haven't seen before. So it says Ostre. I'm not sure if I'll pronounce that correctly, but it's a German goddess about new beginnings. And if you can see there, she's got some flowers and they're blossoming. And this was a message about spring, actually. So as I've been saying, you know, January is for grounding, looking after ourselves, resting, regenerating, eating well, resting, sleeping. And it's just the new beginnings we want are coming in the spring. And that's been a message, I think, throughout the winter, actually, with the cards. So everything you've been working towards, you know, the seeds you're sowing, the intentions you're setting, the things you want to do are going to start to blossom and start to come to fruition a bit more in spring. So yeah, rest and take it easy at the moment. Look after yourself, have some time out, and then just start to sow the seeds. So when you're setting your intentions, you're doing your manifestations, we're not expecting them to happen immediately, they're going to happen over time. Sow the seeds, look after yourself, and in spring things will come to fruition. So quite an interesting reading there for the new moon and this week. So quite a lot of power coming in, reclaiming your power, being strong, doing what you want to do, set your intentions on that basis, make sure you're still resting and grounding, looking after yourself, and all your things that you want to happen will start to fruition a bit more in spring. So have a good week, everybody, and take care.